Hi, I'm Cara Wolf, Squarespace SEO expert and website designer and owner of Websites by Cara. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to use Search Console to analyze what is or isn't working in your SEO strategy and how to make strategic decisions based on that data to scale what's working or improve what's not. If you haven't already set up Search Console with your Squarespace website, I'll provide a link below to a video on how to do that. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm here in my dashboard. Now, in order to access this, even if you've previously set it up with Squarespace, you have to go directly to Search Console. To do that, we're going to go to search.google.com/search-console, and it's going to bring you to your Search Console dashboard. If you aren't already logged into your Google account, it's going to prompt you to log in with your Google account. Just be sure to log in with the same Google account you used to set up this account. Now, there's a couple of key things we're going to track today. The first is keywords and queries. So this is what people are typing in to find your website, and then pages. And this is really the two categories we're going to cover in this video. Keywords helps us understand what are people typing in that then lead to them finding our site. And this is where we can look at search intent. We can look at what keywords are driving traffic. If we've decided to optimize our website for certain keywords, this is where we can figure out if people are actually using those keywords to find our site, to get impressions, to click through. So understanding what people are searching is a huge help in figuring out how Google understands our website. So that's the first part, is keywords and queries. And the next is pages. Getting into understanding which pages on your website are actually producing results. So those pages, what keywords are those individual pages ranking for? Are there more than one page on your website that's ranking for the same keywords? And then the other part of that is when you are optimizing a page, we can get in and we can see the progress of the impressions and tracks on that exact page. So those are the things we're going to go over today: keywords and pages. So let's go ahead and start with keywords. I'm going to go ahead and minimize myself here so you can see my screen. So I'm on the dashboard and I'm going to come into performance. And this performance tab here on the left is where we're going to spend all of our time today. Now it's going to bring up a default view. We have total clicks, total impressions, and it's by default going to be the last 3 months. If you're looking at data and you want to see a bigger trend about what's working or not working on your website, 3 months is nice. It's nice to kind of go quarterly. However, if you have a limited amount of data on your site, it might be helpful to go by 6 months or a year. Basically, the more data we have, the more information we have to make decisions. So if you're doing this on a regular basis, 3 months, aka quarterly, is kind of nice. If you haven't been in here in a while, or you want a bigger scope, or you have a limited amount of traffic to work with, I do recommend coming up to more and choosing 6 months or 12 months. And if you're in here all the time, you can also do the last 28 days if you just want to see what's working recently. And you can also come up to this More tab and come to Compare. And you can compare this 3 months to the last 3 months, or this 28 days to the last 28 days. So if you're in here more frequently, this is helpful. But today we're just going to stick with, let's just look at the last 3 months. So this is my website over the last 3 months, and we're going to use this as an example for today's walkthrough. So the first thing is clicks. Now, clicks are proven winners. If someone is clicking on your website, they have made it to the destination. Now, keep in mind that Google Search Console and Google Analytics and these tools that were provided by Google only offer a small snapshot. So Google Analytics and Google Search Console is not going to show you everything. We are using this as a benchmark. So what you want to do is you want to take the data that's in here and we want to benchmark it. We want to say, this is where we're at right now. Can we do more next month? Can we do more the month after? So use this as a benchmark. Know that this isn't the total clicks on your website. It's not going to show everything. You're not going to get 100% complete picture, but it's a good indicator. And also keep in mind that Search Console only displays data from Google and Google AI mode. So this is not showing clicks and traffic and impressions from Bing Webmasters, from Yahoo, from ChatGPT. It's just Google. However, Google still holds majority of the market share, and a lot of these LLM models like ChatGPT, when you type in certain queries, it scans Google for the results. So using Search Console is a really great way to create that baseline of what is or isn't working as a way to figure out early indicators. So we have filtered out. So for me, I like to look at one thing at a time. This is very distracting to see the difference in clicks and impressions and all these other things. Now, it's really easy to get excited by impressions. Sometimes we'll see impressions going up and we think, great, it's working. But I always like to start with clicks, because clicks really is an indicator of really truly how well things are working. Impressions might give an idea of what's trending, of where we're showing up, but clicks, this is where the matching search intent comes. This is if someone is actually clicking on your site, they type something into Google, and then your website and the initial view that came up, the title and the description, felt like enough of a match that they clicked it. So clicks are not only a better indication of search intent and matching search intent, but of course, if you can get someone on your website, that's a much better start for revenue, right? And conversions. So I like to sort by clicks to start, and you can just come down here and see what's driving clicks. So for me and my website in this exact moment, I have some branded queries, and branded queries are when someone already knows you and they're searching for you by name. So their business name or personal name. So here people are searching by my name, they're searching by my business name. This is a good thing. LLMs like when people are searching by name, because it shows that people are, there's a trust factor there, right? If your audience already knows you and already trusts you and is going into Google and searching for you by name, these branded queries are really great. It means you're getting out there. It means you're on a variety of sources. People know you. They know you before they come to your site. These are warmer leads. So we do like branded queries. Branded queries are great. It's very good that I'm seeing this on the top of my website. Now, the next thing we want to look for is what we consider money-making keywords. So we don't want to see keywords that are being typed into Google that are informational. So things like how to make a muffin, right? Stuff that AI is going to try to answer for us. We want to get farther down the funnel. So in my industry, an informational keyword might be how to do SEO on a Squarespace website. That's someone that's just looking for information. They're likely to get an answer by AI, and they're not quite ready to pay a specialist to do this. So we want keywords that are farther down the funnel, farther down the buyer journey. So for example, this first one that's showing up here, Squarespace SEO specialist and Squarespace SEO expert, that is great. That is a money-making keyword. These are people that are farther along in the buyer journey and they're already looking to hire a specialist. And that's what we consider money-making keywords. So this is perfect. This is the kind of stuff we want to see. We've also got Squarespace SEO expert, Squarespace partner directory. These are all money-making keywords. So what I would encourage you to do is come into Google, come into Search Console, filter just by clicks. 3 months is great, but go farther back if you need to, and just see what's ranking. This is what we're going for. If you're not seeing something like this, then that means we have some work to do. So I'll give you a couple of use cases. If you're not seeing people search for you by name, it means that people literally don't know about you. And you want to start getting out there and building up industry recognition. And you can do this through social media, through YouTube, through a variety of channels, including your website. If you're not seeing money-making keywords, if you're seeing more informational-based keywords, it means that you need to find those money-making keywords using a keyword research tool. You need to have service pages on your website, and then you need to optimize those service pages with those money-making keywords so that it's really clear to Google what you're selling. And that's essentially what we're looking for here. So in my case, as I'm going through this, it's showing me what is working on my website. And so for me, I could look at this and say, okay, well, how do I scale this now? This is working. How do I scale it? But if you're not seeing this, then the first step you want to take is how do I get there? So let's go through some other ways to use this keyword page to look for opportunities. So the next thing we want to do is we want to look for keywords that are getting high impressions and low clicks. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my impressions back on. And I'm going to sort by the highest possible clicks. So here we have, these are keywords that are getting a ton of impressions And some of them are getting clicks and some of them aren't. So for example, Squarespace Expert Cost is getting a ton of impressions, but no clicks. I'm just looking for zeros. SEO Case Studies, Squarespace SEO Services. So here's a money-making keyword, Squarespace SEO Services, that had 2,000 impressions and no clicks. So this might be an opportunity, right? These are keywords where Google already understands that there's a matching search intent. It already understands that my website is selling Squarespace SEO services. But if you're seeing this, it means that the matching search intent is there, but you're not ranking high enough. So typically, if you're getting high impressions but no clicks or very little clicks, it means you're not high enough on the page. So the process I would go through is I would type Squarespace SEO services into Google and I would see who's ranking. And my goal, my SEO strategy would be, what do I need to do to rank higher on that page, or maybe rank on that page at all? And not only rank on that page, but possibly rank number one. So this is an indicator that I'm not ranking high enough. I'm either not ranking on page one at all, or I'm ranking on page one, but I'm not in the top 3. If I could get my website, especially in the top 3, even better in the top position, all of a sudden I would have a ton of clicks. So the matching search intent is there. Google understands that my website is all about Squarespace SEO services, but I'm just not ranking on those pages. So that's the second way to use this to come up with some opportunities of how to improve your SEO strategy. Now, the third is what we call low-hanging fruit. So I went ahead and paused for a second and brought this up in Chrome. Now, what we've got here is it's the same view, but I have Keywords Everywhere turned on. Keywords Everywhere is a Chrome extension that you can add. You can, just for $25 for the whole entire year, you can buy some credits, or I recommend signing up for one of their paid plans, because for literally $5 or $7 a month, this is an incredible keyword tool. But one of the great things about it is it overlays information wherever you are. So right now I'm in Chrome. I have the Keywords Everywhere installed, Chrome extension installed, and it's now overlaying on top of this data. So this is the same data I had before. And you can see I've got my clicks and my impressions, and I'm just in the last 3 months of data here, but now I have this Keywords Everywhere data. So it's showing that the Keywords Everywhere data is a good representation of what the keyword tools show. So this is a way for us to compare what are people finding in the keyword tools versus what is actually happening on our website. And this can give us low-hanging fruit, because if there are keywords on our website, if there's keywords we're ranking for that aren't really showing up in the keyword tools, but we're clearly getting impressions for it, these are not only nice opportunities because we're already getting impressions for them, but they're keywords that our competitors may not be looking for unless they're using this trick, which maybe they are. So let's go ahead and find one as an example. All right, so here's a good one. So we've got 99 impressions and 2 clicks for Squarespace Partner Directory, and yet the Keywords Everywhere tool is saying, no, only 10 searches per month, but I've got 99 impressions in the last 3 months. So this is where the real-time data is higher than what the keyword tool is saying. So this is low-hanging fruit. My competitors may not be going after this. Or maybe they will after they watch this video. This is another one, Best Squarespace Designers. I know a lot of people in my industry are going after this term because it's kind of obvious, but this is a great example because here I am getting nearly 3,000 impressions in the last 3 months. I've got a click, and yet the keyword tool itself, you know, the keyword databases out there are saying, oh, it's only 50 per month, 50 traffic per month. But obviously, this is pretty good. People are really searching for this. So this is where, similar to the last solution I came up with, I would figure out what page I want to rank for Best Squarespace Designers. And obviously I'm getting some traction on this, but I'm getting a ton of impressions, but I'm not getting very many clicks. So that tells me search intent is matching, not ranking high enough on the page. And because I have Keywords Everywhere installed and I'm looking for low-hanging fruit, I know that my competitors are optimizing for this particular keyword, but the idea is that if this Keywords Everywhere tool is saying there's not very much traffic for it, there's a possibility in your industry that your competitors may not be searching for it. So the same principle applies. Go to my service page, So I first would type in best Squarespace designers into Google, try to figure out who's ranking, why are they ranking, go to my service page and make changes to rank higher on that page so that I start to get more clicks. So that is how to use Search Console to analyze the various keywords that people are using to find you, to make some strategic decisions about what is currently working, what's currently not working, and how to get more clicks. Obviously, there's more to it than that. There are a lot more ways we can do that, but that would be where I would start. That would be where I would recommend that you go initially. So now let's go ahead and talk about pages. So to access pages, we don't go to this Pages tab. Believe it or not, we're going to stay in the Performance tab. I'm going to go ahead and keep my data set to 3 months because, again, the same principles apply. And instead, we're going to do, instead of just looking at the keywords that are ranking here, we're going to go ahead and do a query. So I'm going to, a filter. I'm going to go ahead and click Add Filter. This is up at the top. Now we can do a query. I could go in here and search by everything that has the word Squarespace SEO, and then that would allow me to do a little bit more work with keywords before moving on to pages. However, for the sake of time, I've already given multiple ideas of how to use the keywords that are being displayed to take some action on your site. So I'm going to go ahead and just move over to pages now. So instead of doing a query, we're going to do a page. Now I'm going to go ahead and target one of my service pages. So a great way to do this is to look at the pages that you know are supposed to be driving revenue on your website, or maybe have been driving revenue on your website, and figure out what queries, what people are searching for that's matching up with that page. So for example, I'm going to look at my Squarespace SEO page. So what's interesting about this is when we were first doing this analysis, I noticed that my impressions had dropped a little. And of course, my first thought, and yours probably would be too, oh, wow, impressions have dropped. What's wrong? Well, what's interesting is now that I'm on a singular page, I'm on a money-making page. What's interesting is over the last 3 months, the impressions have dropped, but clicks have actually gone up. So the data in here isn't always what it appears. And I do like to encourage everyone that's watching this to think of this, put on your detective hat. So look at things from all angles and just kind of see where things take you. Start off by looking at a page. Put in one service page that you know is supposed to be making you money and driving clicks, and see what you find. Because sometimes it's not always black and white, and we have to dig a little deeper to see what is or isn't working. So in this case, maybe those initial impressions site-wide looked like they were dropping, and they have actually dropped on this page, but clicks have gone up. So that tells me that over the last 3 months, there has been a better match of search intent. So maybe I'm showing up less in the AI summaries, maybe I'm just showing up less overall, but where I am showing up, I'm getting more clicks. It means that search intent is better. It means Google's getting better at matching my site to the people who are looking for me. Now, this is where I like to think of impressions as sort of early indicators, but ultimately clicks are really, again, it's those proven winners, right? It's like if someone's clicking on your website, how crazy are we going to really go about impressions if we're getting more clicks? Clicks are clicks. So what's interesting about this, and I'm just kind of looking at this in real time. So we have, this is actually very interesting. So this is my service page where I'm selling SEO services. And it's interesting because the one click I've gotten, and again, I know I've gotten more clicks than this because I get inquiries to my inbox all the time from the form that's on there. So this is a benchmark. This is not all the data. But what's interesting is the one click that was recorded here was for Squarespace SEO course. It wasn't actually for services. And of course, we've got some pretty high impressions for Squarespace SEO Expert, Squarespace SEO Agency. And I know that I show up in the AI summaries for these words, but I know I'm not on page one. I do have a blog that does show up on page one. And so that if we were to pull up that blog, you'd probably see a lot more clicks. So again, I've got high impressions and low clicks because this particular service page is not ranking high enough on page one to get clicks. But I find it really interesting that I did get a click for Squarespace SEO course and that this service page ranked for that because in the last 3 months, I have launched a Squarespace SEO course and I've been posting about it on Google or on LinkedIn, and I've been linked up that course to this particular page, and have been doing more branding and brand positioning around Squarespace SEO course. So I find it interesting that this page happened to rank for that query. So this is where the strategic problem solving, strategic decision and problem solving comes in, because we have to start making decisions, and it's not always black and white, but this is a really good indicator. So what I would recommend is doing this for all of your important service pages. You can also do this if you launch a new page and you want to see how it's taking off. Now we can reverse engineer this the other way. So let me actually come back here. So I'm going to remove this filter. So now we're back to the regular view where we have clicks and impressions, and we're just back to the queries, right? So we're going to kind of reverse engineer this. I want to see what queries are happening for these particular pages to see if the search intent is different on some of my other pages. So this time, instead of looking at queries, I'm going to go one over to the right here. I'm going to click pages. Now I can get into these specific pages to see what's ranking. So here's that blog I was telling you about, right? Here's blog, hire Squarespace SEO expert. Now I'm going to click on this, and now it's going to display impressions and clicks just for this one page. So it literally, basically what that does is it just puts on the filter for you. So you can see up here at the top, we're just filtering this one page. I just came at it from a different angle. I was looking at my keywords and I was like, I want to see what pages are ranking now. So here's all my page. Here's my blog that I told you about. And you can see, like I suspected, this blog ranks higher on that page. So if you type in Squarespace SEO expert, I show up. This blog is what ranks on that page, which is why it's getting clicks and my other page isn't. So there's some proof for you there. Now, what we can do, I'm going to come back to the queries. So I'm going to get rid of that filter again, and I'm going to come back to this. This time I'm going to click on the query itself. So this Squarespace SEO expert is showing up for multiple pages. It's showing up for my service page, and it's showing up for my blog. We already know my blog is ranking higher and doing better for this. So do with that what you will. So I'm going to click on this query. Now that I've clicked on the query, I can see all of the pages that are ranking for this one query. So this is where it can get kind of interesting, because I can see that obviously I know my blog is ranking pretty high for that. Here's my service page down here, and it looks like you can ignore. This is just the table of contents. So it's the sections, the anchors that go down. So we're going to ignore that. This second blog, so I have one blog that's ranking for that. I have a service page that's ranking for that. And I have, it looks like another blog, how much does a Squarespace SEO expert or agency cost, sometimes shows up for that same search intent. And then here's I have a blog that's my free SEO, Squarespace SEO course. That's not the one I've been promoting lately, but that's showing up as well. So what do we do with this information? So far, we have used the pages view to better understand what's happening on our pages. So which pages are, if you just want to individually target a page and say, how's it doing? Am I getting clicks? Am I getting impressions? What are people using? What keywords are people using to find this page? We can also reverse engineer it from the other side. So that's what we did after that. We went back to the queries and we started saying, okay, do we have more than one page ranking for the same search term? So what do we do with all this? This is going to be dependent on your website and your goals. Now, I have a couple different choices for my website. You can combine stuff. For me, I do not want to combine that blog with my service page. That they are both, while they are ranking for the same thing, they both serve their own. They both have their own reasons for being on my site. So I'm not going to combine them. Now, what I could do was that other blog that's ranking. I've got a couple other blogs that are kind of showing up. Essentially, what I would want to do is I'd want to go in and I want to figure out, I would take those search terms. So I would take Squarespace SEO expert and I would go and put it into Google and I'd reverse engineer exactly what is the search intent on that page. And then I would look at all of my pages that are ranking for that. And you either want to combine stuff or you want to take the things that are kind of lower down and getting a few impressions but aren't really the right match And maybe what can I do on those pages to make the search intent on those pages more clear towards a particular keyword? So for example, this Squarespace SEO course, right? Someone looking for an expert, in theory, they're probably not looking for a course. Although it's interesting because as I've done these types of searches in Google, there is a little bit of a mismatch. So I would just want to get really deep into the buyer journey and understand what is the buyer journey of someone looking for a Squarespace SEO course versus someone looking for an expert. And I want to map that out, and I want to get really clear on where they are and what they're searching for and what kind of value they're trying to get and the search intent for that. And then I would take a look at what's ranking on those pages. See if there's any crossover, see if it's just can be a little bit more clear, and then make adjustments on my website to make it really clear to Google that Squarespace, this blog, Squarespace SEO course, is really targeted towards the keyword Squarespace SEO course. And in order to do that, I have to get the search intent better. I have to really understand the buyer journey, understand that particular keyword, understand what's ranking on that page, and match it all up so that I can make it really clear to Google, hey, if someone's searching Squarespace SEO course, they are really looking for a course. They're not looking for an expert. And then I do that same process on my other blog, Hire Squarespace SEO Experts, or maybe on my service page. So again, we're just creating clarity on these different pages to help Google understand, no, if someone's searching for this, they go here. And if someone's searching for this, they go here. And the idea being is if we can go through that process and use Search Console in this way to reverse engineer what's working, what's not working, and clarify that and kind of pull it apart and say, okay, search intent's a little messy right now, let's make it clean. That will help us rank higher on the pages where we want to be ranking. And as we've already talked about, the higher you rank, the more clicks you get. More clicks we get, the more conversions we get, the more our business grows. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you are wanting to use Search Console to drive more growth to your business, there's more you can do, but this is what I would start with. Obviously, I just outlined probably enough to keep you busy for the next 3 months, maybe the next 6. So this is what I would start with in terms of using this platform to take some next steps. So if this video was helpful, like and subscribe to this channel, and look in the description below for links to all the good stuff.